Hello and welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host, and I have the wonderful and amazing, extraordinary, I might say, and very funny Paul Vato as my co-host. Hey, Paul, how's it going today?
Wonderful. You scared me there for a second. I thought you'd replace me because you were saying all these great things. So thank you. Thanks for having me.
Never. I would never replace you, Paul. Happy Friday to you. There's no replacing you, Paul, because there's only one Paul.
That's right. So thank you. I'm irreplaceable. Thank you for having me, AJ. Always great to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. And we keep it real here at Film Talk. So we're going to say we have an extraordinary show tonight for everybody. And I'm so excited, Paul. VIP in the building, really, Marneen Lynne Fields. She is an actress and she has been a stunt woman in some of the most incredible films like The Gauntlet with Clint Eastwood. So let's give a very nice warm welcome to Marneen. Hello, Marneen. How are you this evening? Happy to see you.
And I'm so happy to see you. Thank you for having me. Congratulations on the success of your show.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we're winning a lot of awards, film festival awards, all the way around the world, international. And so thank you so much for that. And we're so happy that you are here, Marneen. So let's dive right into it. We've got these great movie posters on the screen. We've got The Gauntlet from 1977 and also Cartwheels and Halos by Marneen L. Fields. And this is going to be your story. It's a film coming up in the future. Let's talk about both of those. So let's talk about the first one, The Gauntlet in 1977. What was it like being the girl who was thrown off the train by Clint Eastwood and smacked?
Yes. I was the girl punched backwards off the train by Clint Eastwood. It was my first movie, and it was so exciting. I had already started to break as a stunt woman, and I had done some movies of the week and a lot of TV series. I did the whole Man from Atlantis TV series. And I got a call one day that his stunt double, Buddy Van Horn, asked me if I could jump off a moving train. So they had said, yes, Marneen Fields can do it. And so I practiced by going to the beach and going on the swings because I was told I'd go into some sand and I'd go real high on the swings and jump up the swings and roll. And yeah, that launched my career overnight. The Gauntlet opposite Clint Eastwood, and they put the photo of me, jumping off the train, in all the newspapers everywhere, and it was he was so handsome. That's the main thing is that you just never saw anyone as handsome as him, and kind of hard to concentrate. But it's what I'm most famous for is The Gauntlet. And I can tell you a little more about it. If your body leaves a moving object, you flail at that speed, and then as the gravitational force leaves you, you drop like a sack of potatoes. And they had brought in an old rusty Coke can, and they had thrown it in the sand to make it look authentic with some tumbleweeds. Well, I was inches. You can see when you look at the clip, inches from hitting that Coke can, and I would have been cut. I would have, and it's a very dangerous stunt. It was one of the most dangerous stunts a young girl performed that year on film, because I went off backwards with a half twist, and you have to go the direction the train's going, or you can get sucked back under the wheels. So it was And they've been so good to me there at El Paso with photos of it. And, it was my big thing. And everyone always refers to it. And I'm thrilled because it was opposite. I'm in the scene with him also. I punch him, I kick him. And he was wonderful. Sandra Locke, too. She's great in the movie. And she was there with him.
Yes, Sandra Locke. I remember her. Don't you, Paul?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's a classic movie. So you were actually both an actor, and I know that stunt people, of course, are actors, but you were an actor in the film as well as doing your own stunts?
In the Gauntlet, I was, well, I did have a small role as one of the biker chicks. But for this scene, I was a stunt woman. However, I got in as an actress. I got my SAG card on the spell as an actress. And then I also did a stunt in the movie that was separate from my acting. And I was one of the first stunt actresses that really, took off as a stunt actress. And before Angelina Jolie, but I had much smaller roles. And so then in 1979, now that was 1977, I had studied acting in college, and in 1979 I met actor director Victor French, who was on Highway to Heaven with Michael Landon and Little House on the Prairie. And I studied acting with him for 3 years and got very, very serious. I just wanted to act. I just wanted to be a famous actress. But I kept doing stunts because I kept getting the stunt acting jobs. And so, yeah, I'm all three: actress now today. And since 1991, since I couldn't do stunts anymore, I've only been as an actress and singer. But before that, stunt woman, one of the top ones in the 70s and 80s, and a stunt actress.
Amazing. And what was it like to be, I mean, is it good pay? Is being a stunt person good pay, or is it just like an actress or actor? Would you say that? Is it more? Is it less? Could you tell us a little bit more about?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And yes, it's SAG. Everything is SAG. You're a SAG stunt actor or stunt woman, and you get the SAG rate, but then you get an adjustment for whatever the stunt was. Like on Man from Atlantis, I dove out of a helicopter one day into a swimming pool to save Patrick Duffy, and I ended up getting like $1,000 adjustment for going out of the helicopter. So in an hour, I had made more than any of the men that day. And yeah, so you do get the adjustments with the stunt, with the acting.
Incredible. And your name went round all of Hollywood as the go-to girl, the fall girl, the stunt girl that could do all of these incredible shows. Like, I just want to mention a few. You were on many other TV shows like Wonder Woman, Battlestar Galactica, A Nightmare on Elm Street, The Incredible Shrinking Woman, Beyond the Poseidon Adventure. These are blockbuster movies, studio movies. How was it to be known as the stunt woman, the go-to girl?
It was fabulous. It was, I was a champion gymnast, so it was, I was well trained, and it was just wonderful. And then I had a horrible car accident in the late 80s. And I lost all of that. I lost all of it, and for 12 years. So I reinvented myself and turned my career into my singing and music and script writing, which is finally, it's really taking off today, which is so exciting. But it was the thing about me is that there was a great deal of dexterity because I had this Olga Corbett type of gymnastics talent. So when I got called for a stunt, it was either a really high dive or high fall, or it was something incredibly dexterous. And I was always either in high heels or like I jumped off the First Interstate Bank building, which was 75 stories high. And I jumped off in the dark in a pair of fluffy slippers with a little high heel and a sheer negligee. And I didn't have a cable because back then they didn't put you in cables and stuff. And so now I didn't go 75 stories. I went about 25 feet. They had this enclave, this big thing, but it wasn't big enough to put anybody else in there. And they wrapped some boxes because when you hit boxes, this is big. See, I'm in there before jerk up cables, airbags. I did one airbag high fall. The rest was, power tumbler legs. There was no springboards were just coming on the gymnastics scene when I got in. And so I went into these boxes and these those little fluffy slippers, and I walk along the edge, and they show me a shot of me, a tiny shot from down on the street below, up 75 stories high, no cable, and the boxes didn't collapse like they were supposed to when I hit them. And so I started to bounce off the building at night in the negligee, in the slippers. And so I remembered my trampoline work, and I set my butt into the boxes, and I was able to save myself. But there was always these complications and always this strange wardrobe. On Battlestar Galactica that you mentioned, I double bred Summer holding a rifle in one hand and a cumbersome Egyptian suit with the neck and all of this. And I've got a camel in the dark. He comes riding in on the camel. He scoops me up on the camel. I got the gun in one hand, and I got to clear the huge butt of the camel. And I've got to keep the gun in one hand because I'm going to fire it later. And then I've got to hold on for dear life. And as we're coming around the corner, we're going through explosions. And I'm on the butt of the camel, and I'm sliding like this and holding on for dear life. And, so there's always this dexterity stuff, which was incredibly challenging, but also really, really stressful. And so the focus had to be everything had to be fine-tuned. And that's for all the stunt people out there working, not only those years, but today too. You're a champion athlete as a stunt person. You really are. And it's phenomenal. And then, don't forget this, you're usually in a wig, or you're in hip pads or knee pads or little shoulder pads. And, so you're performing like you're in a clown suit, kind of. I used to look down at myself and think, I'm like, and then they're like, don't get it dirty, don't rip it. The wardrobe, or like, I did a high midnight where I play a mother photographing my children at a birthday party. And I got this beautiful camera in my hands. And the guys come through the door, I spin around, he blows me away with a shotgun, and I got to flip the table and then hit it with my arm and throw the birthday cake that's burning onto the floor under the curtains to light the fire.
Wow.
And it's like, and then they say, don't let that camera hit the ground. Don't break the camera.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And I did it. I don't know how. God on my side, all of this, why didn't I? You look at the gauntlet, you see that Coke can. I'm just inches from missing it. And I was blind. I was backwards, going anywhere but looking down. You think it's just sand. Who's going to throw old rusty Coke can in your way? And you see my foot just barely misses it. And I didn't know it was there, not till so there was all this stuff that goes on. And you think it's nothing, but it's really, the littlest thing can hurt you. You can get tripped up on the littlest thing.
Absolutely. And what an extraordinary career you've had as a stunt woman. This is just so phenomenal. It's going to be a great movie, your upcoming movie. I did want to say, though, that I think you had angels protecting you, Marneen, and I'm going to give it over to Paul in a second, but I just want to say you were protected on all of those. So many.
Any one of them, I could have had my spinal cord severed. Just anything could have happened. Now, there is a book. It's by Britain Publishing, and I'm 75% finished with it. and it's Rolling with the Punches with the Hollywood Fall Girl, and it has all these stories in there. And I'm really, really proud of it. And then my other book on the screen, Cartwheels and Halos, a true Marneen Lynne Field story, that other's filmography, and this one is the autobiography, and it'll publish in 2023 with Britain Publishing, who has a 2 billion audience, and that's the miraculous God healing powers and everything that happened after I had the car accident and survived. So it's a wonderful time, but that's not my big news, and Paul needs to say something.
Okay, so yes, you mentioned the Cartwheels and Halos. I want everyone to check it out here. Just look at the screen, but let's take it over to Paul. Paul, over to you.
You know, the things that you're mentioning, I feel like a lot of times the writers or the producers or, you know, people that don't know about stunt work think it's so easy because, you know, you make it look easy because you're so good at what you do that they're like, yeah, of course she can fall backwards out of a train, or, you know, do 3 different things, dressed like a clown, you know, feels like a clown suit that you're wearing, and then light the curtains on fire. So they'll write that not knowing all the technical stuff that goes into it. So it's for them, it's very easy to go, that's what we want. I mean, I've heard stories where things almost go haywire because somebody's jumping off of a building that's not really a professional stunt person, but he's a very rich man, and he was, you know, he wanted to make an entrance, and they're like, you cannot go down there with these tickets that you're holding. But then their PR guy was like, yeah, you just hold them. You know, he almost hit himself in the building and killed himself. So it takes a lot. Kudos to you guys that make us actors look great. So thank you for doing that and sharing your stories. Did you ever work on The Fall Guy? Because I know that was a show in the 80s.
15 episodes of The Fall Guy with Lee Majors.
Yeah. I grew up with all those shows. So everyone, you know, all the ones that you mentioned, with Patrick Duffy, all those. So that's great.
And both of them, Lee Majors and Patrick Duffy, so nice and so handsome. And I got to double Priscilla Presley on The Fall Guy, which was my dream come true, you know, just to meet her and talk about Elvis. And so yeah, I did. I had a couple stunt acting roles on a few episodes of The Fall Guy, and then I did all the guest stars. And Michelle Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas, she asked for me a few times, and I did double turn on The Fall Guy. I got to drive. I did do some driving. I wasn't known as a driver, but I did train a little bit, and I did do some driving on The Fall Guy, and I got to drive his famous truck. And but I drove his famous truck from the middle of the front seat with my foot over on the gas because he had been knocked out. So I'm driving from the middle of the front seat. That big
Wow.
Incredible. Wow. You know, these are such wonderful memories, Marneen. And Paul, I wanted to ask you, have you ever done your own stunts, Paul?
Maybe like a fall, because I did study judo, and, you know, in judo, you learn how to fall. I was a wrestler in high school, but more so my martial arts training for judo, where you fall and you slap the mat type of a thing, but nothing big. I mean, even when I was on Bold and the Beautiful and we had this fight scene, they actually brought in stunt people for us. That was very interesting. They were happy to be working, even though it was a soap opera and they never have action. The whole cast and crew were besides themselves, because usually soap operas are just love stories and just talking, but they were very excited. 20 years later, I think they still talk about it because they were very excited to have all these stunt people. And I had a fight with Ron Moss, and our stunt guys took care of it. And then they just came in for us on the close-ups. It was very exciting.
That's so cool. So professional stunt people were brought in, like Marneen. So Marneen, it's really a specialized craft within the film industry to be a stunt person. And so I do want to switch it up a little bit now and talk about your upcoming movie or what you want to promote. Over to you, Marneen.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm after 45 years in the industry. I'm working my way up as a stunt girl, bit actress, co-star, lead actress, lead vocalist, script writer, composer. I'm making my directorial debut with Who's Gonna Take Care of Me? And it's my mom's true story. The screenplay has won or been nominated for 9 Best Screenplay Awards. And I've been trying to sell it, and I've been so close to selling it for years. And everyone writes back, my God, it's so great, but we can't use it right now. I mean, you get these reviews from these big producers and stuff, like Dustin Hoffman's ex-manager at Agape Films, and everyone is just crazy about it. But I ended up doing a independent film and playing a role, and I watched the director. He's been doing all of his own producing and directing, and I said, you know what? I'm not waiting anymore. I talked to you and Jeff at lunch about it. I am not waiting anymore to see my mother's film. I could be dead and it would have never produced. And so I said, I'm doing it. And that was after meeting with you guys. I said, you know what? I had figured out, and the first few days of casting, over 300 people replied within the almost 2 weeks. I had to close casting because I had received 500 resumes, headshots, demo reels. I've cast over 100 people in the film. We start shooting September 25th. I'm just in Los Angeles, and I know it's like so incredible. And the main thing is it's an amazing story, and I've been writing scripts since the 80s, and I've wanted to do when I saw Purple Rain, I wanted to do a Purple Rain. When I did Neil Simon plays, I wanted to be Neil Simon. Now this is my Clint Eastwood moment. After 45 years.
Yes, Marneen, you green lighted yourself, and I love that about you. That's very new Hollywood. And what I mean by that is I want to give credit to Yvette Vargas of New Hollywood, right, Paul? That's green lighting ourselves, not waiting for next year or any other conditions, but doing it right now. So I'm so proud of you, Marneen. Isn't that right, Paul?
100%. I love that. And that's really exactly what you said. New Hollywood. We're not waiting. We're creating our own content. So that is wonderful. Do you have distribution for it yet? Or what's that process like?
Production. I don't really enter production. I just finished casting for the most part. There's still more and a lot of extras. And I'm going to film in order to budget it with how I'm doing it. I've launched a fundraiser, but I'm going to film. It takes place over 9 years with flashbacks of my mom's whole life and stuff. It's just gorgeous. And I'm doing 2 days a month in September, 3 days in October, 1 day or 2 days in November, then Thanksgiving, then a day or two in December, then Christmas, then a day or two in January. And I can do that with this film. It doesn't need continuity like others because it's 9 years. But talk about, and see, I'm a very educated script writer and script supervisor. I edited a script supervisor textbook in the 80s. And so this is a complicated piece of work. And I've got to, manage what's going on because there's also special effects and things that are needed. The change, I'm playing my mother, and it changes her appearance. She had schizophrenia, homelessness, multiple cancers, including a brain lymphoma, and just horrific stuff. And she was found and brought home to safety, and I cared for her for 13 years. And she helped write. She didn't really write it because she was still very ill, but she narrated some things she wanted in the screenplay about family betrayal and things that I wouldn't have put in there that's in there. And so it with this piece, I can do it that way, and then it's affordable for me in case there is very little funding. But we will work on distribution. Everyone says you get the distribution before you even start filming, and that's new to me. I didn't realize. I was planning afterward. Now, what I wanted and all I cared about was, first of all, putting my mom on top of the world with this amazing, beautiful mother-daughter love story. And AJ has heard quite a bit about the script. I talked to her and Jeff, her husband, in detail. And I want to put my mom on top of the world, and then it will go out to Academy Award qualifying film festivals when it's finished, which is really just great. And then we're going to work to get it on Netflix. But see, the thing that I'm learning is that you get it on these other channels, and then they buy it and they buy it out, and you don't have any more rights to it. And I don't know if I want to do that. You know,
Yeah. Go ahead, love.
I might be able to hold on to it, you know, and because I wanted to do something to help the mentally ill who are homeless and their families with her story, and do something with a charity in her name. And that
I
was
love this. I love this so much. And this is such an important story. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm so excited, Marneen. After the show, I'm going to connect you with the film festival doctor, Roberta Louisa Smith, and also Jerome Corshon. He is a distribution expert, and he has his own company, his own distribution company. So I'm going to do 2 introduction emails for you because you're my friend, and this is the right time because it's your show tonight, and I wanted to give that to you after the show. So thank you so much. Over to you, Paul or Marneen.
Well, I would like to hear from Paul about distribution, what he was going to add to that.
No, I always like to hear the technical side. Like I would even have questions as to the equipment that you're using to shoot it. What are you shooting it on and things like that. But I've also, and I don't know that much about that world, but I do know, most people almost have distribution before they shoot the film, but things and times are a changing. So, that's the other thing too. You're not motivated by, oh, I've got to sell it, or I lose my home or whatever. So that's wonderful that you have control. You own the rights. You own the IP, and there's as long as it's shot correctly and it passes all the Netflix tests. Because it's my understanding that it has to pass
the Netflix camera and sound and all of that. I'm insisting that it be the finest quality it can be. But I've been trained. See, I come out of the same school as Dustin Hoffman, Paul Newman, Jane Fonda, Jack Nicholson, with Jeff Corey. Because after I worked with Victor French, I then went to Jeff Corey and was with him for many years. And I had the minor in theater arts from Utah State. So I am very, very well trained as an actress. And I hold my own. And Victor French and the directors I've worked with, these guys are brilliant directors. So I have written something that is, it's going to blow people's minds. I'm so proud of it. And it's had 5 rewrites. My mom was found she came home in early 2000. A couple years after that, we wrote this. And since this amount of time, it's had the rewrites and holding and waiting. They'll get back to me, send it to them. And it's just like, I am so sick of the runaround and the waiting and, oh, we love it. It's so great. And you know what? This is why it was meant to be this way. I was meant to play her, and I was meant to do it. And but I kept giving it to someone else because that's the way I am. I kept following the rules. Get a producer, get a star, and people told me, like one of the guys said, list the cast in the order of who's highest rank on the IMDb. And Donna Heising and myself that have been cast in the film, we're the highest rank of the over 100 people. I've been 15,000 on IMDb. She's at 12,000. And so, and I was selling myself short, thinking I gotta stand in line or still be second to everyone. And no, this is my vision, and whatever, I'm just.
Marneen, you definitely deserve to be number 1. And Paul and I are in agreement with that. So I'm so thrilled. When you get a chance, after the emails I send tonight, the introduction, both of these people are very wonderful, and they will respond to you. And Paul knows of them right when I mentioned their names. So you're taking it forward, and you just keep going and moving forward, and that's the key. Isn't that right, Paul?
That's it. That's 100% it.
Now, are you in Las Vegas, Paul?
I am. I'm like in the Summerlin area, Lake Mead in Buffalo.
So Marneen, if you ever need any casting of, something that Paul would match, please keep Paul in mind, because he's a phenomenal actor. He was in The Trust with Nicolas Cage. Was it 2017, was it, or 20?
Yeah, it's been a while. 2017, 2018, 2017, I think. Yeah.
But that's a phenomenal movie. So I just want to let you know, keep Paul in mind, right, Paul?
I just
thank you.
Agent, casting directors, and myself, and altogether five. About five, or I'm either number 5 or number 6. I cast most of it and watched all these 500 reels and stuff. And but I didn't know about you, and now we're pretty much cast. But I plan now to do what I'm doing right now, because it's brought me such focus that this is exactly why I'm here. That I mean, I have the books and I have more music and different things, but I'm supposed to do this with the films, and I'm gonna just go from one to the next, because I've written about 7, and I'm just gonna, we're gonna start with it, because I can do it in the way that I'm doing it now. And
Absolutely. Absolutely, Marneen. How can people get a hold of you? Are you on Facebook, Instagram? What's the best way to contact you and support?
Hey, just go to IMDb, Marneen Fields, and the spelling's on the screen there. So that's the best. I'm kind of got active back to Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Because of the film, I'm trying to, post on those. I sure like your blonde hair.
Oh, thank you. Well, I wanted to match you as my sister. I wanted to match you. I know you love, you have blonde hair all the time. You wear blonde hair. So I wanted to match you, and we're sisters, right, Marneen?
Yes, we are, and good friends. And you're just awesome. I'm so proud of your success, and, and it was so great to meet you.
It really was. We had fun, and it was a delicious meal, and we have a nice picture to remember that moment, that day together. And it was wonderful. So thank you so much. And Marneen, I'm so proud of you and what you have accomplished. And I want Cartwheels and Halos to be a blockbuster film for you. So let's do everything we can. Everybody out there, support Marneen, and follow her on Facebook, and check out her IMDb and Instagram. And I'm sorry to say, though, it always comes in this time in our show, but we have to start wrapping it up, Paul. So we're going to do final thoughts, but I've enjoyed it so much. It's gone so fast. But Marneen, we love you, and you're a wonderful, incredible actress and director and producer. So over to you, Paul, for final thoughts.
Amazing. Yeah, I love learning about all aspects of the film industry, and this is one of the things that I don't know that much about, but we've had other stunt people on our show. So it's wonderful to get to meet somebody else. And it just reiterates how bringing a production together, it's like a finely tuned wheel where, everyone needs to be firing at the same time and working well together. It's not easy to make a movie. And then when you add stunts, it adds a whole other level. So it's wonderful to meet other people that are in the industry and are just as passionate about it. So it's wonderful to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you. And can I mention my fundraiser on GoFundMe?
Sure.
Who's going to take care of me? So go to GoFundMe, just put who's going to take care of me. And no donation is too small, but we appreciate anything.
Wonderful. And can you say that one more time, Marneen, so everybody hears?
Yeah, it's GoFundMe, and the name of the film, Who's Gonna Take Care of Me? And you'll see my photo when they pull it up. And I think donations start at $5. So no donation is too small.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. I hope that we get to hang out in Vegas.
Oh, I'm so sorry. My mute was on. I wanted to say, Marneen, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I just think that when the time is right, something will unfold, and it'll open up in a way that it's just real crystal clear, and that this is just like happened, and I didn't expect it, and now I'm there, and all the people, and so very, very interesting.
Wonderful. So thank you so much for that, Marneen. And I'm I want to say I'm sorry for having my mute button on. Thanks, Paul, for filling in on those few seconds. My final thoughts are thank you so much, Marneen, for coming here and sharing your beautiful stories and your beautiful life with us. And everybody support Marneen. And also, I wanted to say that we celebrate you. So if anyone wants to come on Paul's podcast or my podcast, please follow Paul and support him. And you can also, you're so welcome if you're a film and TV professional like Marneen. And I want to say hi to Georgette. Hello, Georgette. And this is for Georgette. I can't juggle my scarves, but I wanted to at least put them on and have a little bit of display. So there's my entertainment for you. Okay. So until next time, thank you so much. And until we meet again. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Marneen.
Thank you so much. Take care. I'll be in touch. Bye.
Wonderful. Thank you.